everyone. MadMac388th here from the Visual Flight Hub, or VFHUB. We are a flight group interested in visual flight with a family-oriented atmosphere. If you're looking for a great group of guys to fly with, please look us up on Dischord. I'm going to be reviewing the Cree jet version today. I tend to use track IR and stay inside the cockpit, so you'll have to bear with me there. But as you can see, this is a very small ultralight plane with twin very small jet engines. The controls are operated on a combination of cables and bungees. As you can see, when you pull back on the yoke or the stick, it stretches a bungee back. When released, it returns to center. Pushed forward, the bungee stretches and then returns to center. Similarly, the aileron controls are also controlled by the bungee. The trim is also hooked up to the bungee. Pulling this lever back stretches the bungee back, raising the nose of the aircraft, and pushing the lever forward lowers the nose. The flaps are mechanical and operated by the lever right here, and pulling the lever back adds flaps. Pushing the lever forward reduces flaps. These can be controlled by the mouse using the scroll wheel. Clicking does not work. Clicking, dragging, none of that works, but the scroll wheel will cause the levers to move for both of these. The parking brakes are located in front of the stick. They're a bicycle brake looking device that is not controlled by either mouse clicks or the scroll wheel. But if you program the parking brakes to a device or key command, you can release the parking brakes or engage the parking brakes using that. We'll go ahead and fire up this aircraft. One thing I have learned is there's a fuel control valve located here. Important to turn that on. We'll engage one engine at a time. Move the throttle. It's about halfway is required for start. Hitting the start button should begin the startup sequence for engine 1. Engaging the battery might also be helpful. Alright, and while we're waiting for the engine to catch, one feature is the canopy, which is, as you can see, a bubble canopy. Single passenger plane can be opened and does increase the outside noise. Can also be closed. And at this point we should latch it. We'll go ahead and fire up engine number 2. Another feature is in the back cargo area. There is a tent. It doesn't seem to like to deploy the tent on the tarmac, but normally it will be deployed to the left and in this area behind the plane. Okay, it looks like both engines are running. Pull the throttle back. For the purposes of this flight, we will do a quick takeoff from runway 13 at West Bend. Go up and demonstrate the capabilities of the plane, and then return and land at this airport. This is a quick accelerating plane. The jets do quickly come to a top speed that is measured in kilometers on this airspeed indicator. So top speed is around 240 kilometers per hour. Now, unfortunately, altitude is also measured in kilometers, which as an American doesn't help me too much. I mean, I can tell if I'm climbing or dropping, but as far as how high above the ground I am, I have to visually determine that by years of experience with flying. Normally I would back taxi on runway 13 to get full use of the runway, but this airplane tends to take off very quickly, so we don't need to worry about that extra bit of runway back there. We are quickly past the stall and airborne. And climbing quite aggressively. We'll get some clearance from the ground and show some maneuvers this airplane is capable of. The jet consumes a rather large amount of fuel. The plane carries 6 gallons of gas. It's currently loaded with 3 gallons of gas, partially to make up for my weight, which, if loaded fully with gas, would be too much for this plane. We are arriving at a relatively safe altitude for maneuvering, approximately 3,000 feet. Again, by my eyeball above the terrain. Now this small plane with its short wings is rather sturdy, and it is capable of aerobatic flight. For instance, it can easily complete a barrel roll. We will put full power in and perform a loop. So we're going up over the top, pulling out power as we go through the bottom. And maintaining flight. It does have a G meter. This gauge right here measures the largest amount of positive and negative G's that you've pulled. The plane is rated for 4.5. I have found that it has a G limiter at 5. We'll go ahead and perform a stall, bringing the speed back, putting in flaps, and there's a stall. We'll bring airspeed back up over the wings, return the plane to normal flight, and take out the flaps. Given that we only have 3 gallons of fuel and this plane burns fuel at a prodigious rate, we will not stray too far from the airport. Now, If not careful when performing maneuvers with this plane, it is rather sensitive and can easily enter a spin. If this happens, it's best to cancel the rotation of the spin with rudders, pull out to slow down the rate of the aircraft, and then put power back in to prevent another stall. Another maneuver to help gain altitude quickly is an Immelman coming over the top and then rolling to maintain level flight after the climb. A quick way to lose speed is to roll inverted and pull through the bottom, a maneuver called a split S. These are maneuvers that are taught to fighter pilots, and this plane is perfectly capable of performing those maneuvers. We are flying along Highway 33, approaching West Bend. The runway I took off from was runway 13. And we will land on that same runway. Entering the downwind for runway 13 right now. Again, this plane, it is small, it accelerates very aggressively, it maintains a climb very aggressively, but its top speed is 250 kilometers per hour. Which, by airplane standards, is not a particularly fast plane. We are entering the base leg of runway 13. Put in 1 notch of flaps. Looks like at this time, we're the only traffic at West Bend. Turning to final. And we have 1 white, 1 red on glide path. Putting in the last notch of flaps. This plane does stall relatively sharply, and it is important to keep power in until you're ready to flare. It can also land with very short use of runway. So that is our review of the jet model by ATSimulations. Again, I'm MadMac388th of the Virtual Flight Hub. Look us up on Dischord if you're interested in finding people to fly with, especially for visual flight. Take care.